And then now I'm
Bam, we're live.
On the Cumberland
right.
and I'm back. Yeah, that's the inside scoop.
Good deal.
Thanks, bro.
How do they do that?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, I'm going to mute Heidi for a second, and then Heidi will be with you 1 second. Souza, what do you know? What the fuck happened? Just so you guys know, event one just happened. It was looked like there was some chaos. We saw a little bit of it in the women's event when Danielle Brandon finished a lap early, and then in the men's event, we saw all sorts of stuff like that happening. Did you get the scoop on that?
Yeah, so right now what I heard is the first three guys that crossed the finish line skipped a lap. So that would be Lazar, that would be Spencer, and Ricky, making the first place in that event, Yanikoski, I think.
And does that mean they'll all, Lazar, Ricky, and Spencer will all finish worse than Colton Mertens once penalties are assessed?
I'm not sure if that 5-minute penalty is going to be what they decide to hold with, but even if they do, that still only puts them at like 38 minutes and change. So I don't know how they're going to assess it. But yeah, even if it gives us a 5-minute penalty, they're still going to end up with a pretty good score.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. We're going to go over to Heidi here. Hey, Heidi, what's up? Thanks for checking in.
Hi, how's it going? It's going good for me.
Were you down there? Are you at the venue, and did you get to watch the women's and men's heat today?
Yes, I'm here. It's super humid. It's super hot. It's like sprinkling off and on, but it's not raining anymore.
And what was the crowd's response? Were you able to hear the crowd's response to the chaos? Are they laughing? Do they think it's cool? Are they angry? Or is there excitement? Well, does it add? Is this quality drama or are people pissed?
Oh, I feel like it's good quality drama for
Me
sure.
too. Me too.
Oh yeah, it's great content. But yeah, the crowd was, obviously excited when the first male crossed, and then everyone's, the cheers are kind of confused, like, okay, that's great, but this is not right. So it seems like everybody knew right away that something was not right.
I mean, from home, I had sympathy for when I saw Lazar and Spencer enter the stadium. And it looked like to us that Lazar tried to turn around and go back onto the playing field, that he realized he had made a mistake, but that maybe someone wouldn't let him re-enter the race once he finished. Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but that seems accurate.
Okay, did you witness that also? Did you see, because Spencer entered the stadium and just finished strong like he thought he had done 5 laps, right. But it was clear that Lazar Jukic was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see that part, but everyone was talking about it, but yeah, I wasn't really able to see it very well.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you all week. We got Andrew Hiller here from his car. We got Jared Howell from the house. We got C. Beaver from an undisclosed location. Let me ask Andrew Hiller a question here. Oh, thank you, Caleb. Caleb, I'll let you do the unmuting. Sorry. I'm going to stop messing with that. Hiller, I am hearing that as the athletes were doing their laps, they would come to a point that's called the Y. I'm not sure where that is. And they would yell at the judges, what lap number are we on? And the judges would respond, it's your fucking responsibility. And any thoughts on that before I give you more information?
That it was on the athletes and not on the judges? So
yeah.
The athletes, so at which rate it would have been entirely on Spencer and Lazar and Ricky to keep count of their 5 numbers that they got to keep count of. It's literally they have to count to 5. How many times have I crossed to this point? 5 times. If that's the case, they're idiots.
Really? Here's the thing. I haven't done this workout, but have you ever gone to the track and you're running and you lose count? That's happened to me a shitload of times in college. I'd go to the track, and then next thing I know, I'm thinking about the girl I want to date. And I'm like, am I on fucking lap 7 or am I lap 12? What the fuck? I know
they're excited, but all you hear is about Matt Frazier knowing where he's at in space in relation to the field. And did they know whether or not they had passed the leaders? And if they hadn't, then how are they going to be the ones to be finishing right there? Correct? Or no, incorrect? You just have to be spatially aware and count to 5. Count to 5.
Davey D says no with 5 exclamation points. It should not be on the athletes. Play devil's advocate for me here and tell me why. Do you have any thoughts on why it shouldn't be if you had to play the other side?
Are you talking to me still?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Well, if you're playing devil's advocate, you say if they're not squatting below parallel, then it is on the judges when it's in competition to be holding them all accountable, of course.
Right.
Correct. If you want to compare the two. And why don't they have something? It's very difficult. And all I can think about, and actually Alexis is the one who said it, you never see anybody in the NFL running the wrong way on a football field. They all like know which way to go. And there was 104,000 people when I was watching it live. And some of them might either be their first experience, and all they're seeing is the announcers say, oh, looks like they fucked up. They're going the wrong way. There's something totally wrong here. And that's not a first impression you're ever going to get watching a professional sport.
Oi. And Andrew Hiller dips in. Okay. I personally am enjoying the drama.
I can't disagree. I'm enjoying it as well. I was sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe that oh my God. All they have to do is count to 5. That's all I'm going to keep saying. Count to 5.
Well, hey,
either the judges or the athletes.
So here's the thing. If this is the athlete's fault, I don't think it leaves a bad impression on the sport. If it's a problem with the course, or if there should have been something on there, I mean, let me ask JR here a question. JR, do we know if there's anything on the field that was notifying them, like that they each person had someone or a manager who could have been there, been like 4, 5? Like, was there any? Did they know from the beginning this was on them?
We can assume that there's someone out there representing each athlete to at some point tell them, hey, this is number 4. This is where you're going to push. Hey, the next pack is 10 seconds behind you. Something like that. However, the question I would ask is, if every athlete has a judge for their gymnastics, why isn't that judge standing outside after the chest to bar counting laps? Okay, so
it didn't look like.
Go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead.
It didn't look like they allowed anybody else on the course either. So I mean, it's probably pretty feasible to put the judges out there and count the laps as they're coming through, because there were no fans, there were no coaches, anything.
So I just want to be clear for those of you who are listening, what JR and Caleb are talking about. When the race started, these athletes ran over to their bar and they did 75 toes to bar. And each of them had an individual judge that counted their reps and made sure they went through the full range of motion. It does sound like something CrossFit would do, that every athlete would also have a judge placed somewhere on the course, probably around the same area, who might be counting their reps as they do laps too. And maybe when they came across their last lap, their ref maybe would have put their hand up or something to let the athlete and the fans know Andre Houdet is on his last lap. Is that what you're saying, JR?
No, I'm saying it would actually be that same judge.
Oh, the same judge. Well, okay. Whether it be the same judge or not, a judge.
Correct.
Okay. Because usually they have plenty of judges, and the judges don't, like, when an athlete moves from section to section, that it's not uncommon that there would even be different judges, so that the judges didn't have to chase the athletes, correct?
Yeah, aesthetically it looks a lot better if the judge is just standing there with their hands behind their back, and then when they leave the field, the judge stays at the pull-up bar and just waits, and their responsibility is done. But if we're talking about whether or not athletes are going to get confused, to your track analogy, I can't think of any time I'm going to run track where I don't know I have one more because I'm ready for it to be over.
Have you ever run 10 miles on a track?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that a few times. It's batshit crazy. You have to come up with some sort of plan to help you count. What I would do is I would just move back. I would move in the lanes. Go ahead.
Last year,
yeah, go ahead, Jared.
We had the 4.5 mile run as workout 1 for the Masters, and there were tons of age divisions running at the same time. We didn't have someone out there yelling for us. We just had to run 4.5. And then when we were done with I think it was 6 loops. When we were done with our 6th loop, we just ran in.
Okay. So it was on the honor system.
Right.
Haley Adams lapped Danielle Brandon, but she finished top 10. I think judge should tell them what lap they are on. Yeah. Here's the thing. Actually, we're trying to figure out if they even had a judge. We can't confirm or deny that. Is that correct?
Where did you hear that? You said you heard that they were counting their own laps.
I can't tell. I heard there was someone on the ground at the event who was standing near the course who said there was a section called the Y, and as the athletes rode by it, they would yell at judges. Oh, and I don't think. Sorry, let me be clear. I don't know this for sure. I'm guessing that they weren't the specific athletes judges. They were just course judges. So to make sure people, I think, were probably staying on the course, and they would say to these judges, "What lap are we on?" And the judges yelled back, "That's your responsibility." So thank you for the clarification on that.
I know there have been events where they've got to like go out and grab something and bring it back. I just don't know. I wonder how they were briefed. And I know I saw a comment in there. Is there any way that we can figure out, grab an athlete and ask what the briefing stated?
Okay, and by the way, that is a clever solution to the problem that Hiller sort of implied, that every lap someone were to grab something or make a mark on their arm or something like that. I mean, you could do something like that.
Would Dave Castro have done that?
There would have been something. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can send. I wonder who I can send a link to. Let's just see if we can. I will send one to.
It looks like Luka Jukic is in here.
Luka's in the chat.
In the chat, yeah.
I sent a link to Lazar. Let me see if I can send a link to Ricky. Oh, you know who I can send a link to also? Let me send a link here to Justin Kotler. Maybe he is on the ground there, and he can hook us up. Some thoughts. And we'll see if anyone can pop in. Some of the notables going back to the women's, Haley Adams came out strong and held it the entire time. Impressive, right?
Yeah, she looked like she knew what she was doing as far as the toes to bar in the first 5 laps. And then when she got to the chest to bar is when she made her move. And then when she got on the bike, it looked like she knew that she was going to hold the lead.
And she looked impressive. She looked like an athlete on that bike. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, in the second 5 miles, she just blew right past everybody and took the lead for the entirety of the 5 miles.
There were definitely different skill levels on the bike. The most obvious thing I noticed was someone like Janikowski, basically his foot stays parallel to the ground the entire time. And if at any time it changes to parallel, the toe would point down. Thank God I also ride a bike like that. I did notice, unbelievably, that Lazar Jukic's foot would sometimes point like this, and every time his foot went around the pedal, you would see his ankles have change in range of motion, which is mind-boggling to me. That means he's pushing the pedal with his ankle. That's like, I mean, I'm no biking expert. When I'm on a bike, that's like the least efficient thing to do. And he was in the wrong gear. It looked like he never switched gears once during the entire ride. It didn't look like he ever stood up, and yet he stayed in the top group, which was crazy impressive. And any thoughts on that, JR? You ride a bike?
Yeah, I've got some guys at my gym that were former triathletes, and the way they tried to describe it to me, even on a bike erg, was just act like you have mud on the bottom of your shoe and you're trying to scrape that mud off on the ground every stroke.
Look at this. Sorry, I was just watching 5 dudes holding CEO shirts up. That's awesome. Yeah, you're trying to scrape what on? You're trying to scrape what on your on mud on the toe of your foot?
No, it's kind of like if on the ball of your foot, if you've got mud on your shoe,
yeah.
If you're going to scrape it on the ground to try to get it off, that's kind of what you want to do. You want to have your foot flat like that at the bottom. Keep the pedal parallel to the floor.
Right. You're not pushing down. You're making circles.
Right.
You're making circles. You're not pushing down. Yeah, it's kind of incredible. Another an absolute painful performance to watch was Keelan Henry. He was so tense and he had his arms bent the whole time. Aesthetically, it looked great. The guy has the nicest arms in the biz. But, man, that looked tense. Did you guys see him as he was getting lapped there?
Yeah, I saw him.
Fantastic event. I loved it that all the women went at once, and I loved it that all the men went together. Fantastic event. Hiller, do you have any thoughts on that? Did you like the layout of it, the look of it, the sprint at the end?
I thought that the event was awesome. I was thinking that maybe I liked the amount of toes to bar and the amount of chest to bar, and my initial thought was that it wasn't enough in comparison to the amount of biking that they did. And then when Laura lost her position after the first one because of the chest to bar, I took it back immediately in my head. I thought that because you saw that she was coming into the chest to bars first, and then where did she finish? Do we know? Somewhere in the top 10, correct?
Yeah.
The leaderboard says 5th.
Yeah, 5th or 6th, I believe.
You're talking about Horvat?
Correct. Because you kept hearing them say that she had a 10 or 15-second lead amongst the next person in relation to the bike. And then you think, okay, she's just holding that lead. But the chest to bars actually ended up making a pretty big difference. And then the toes to bar were actually pretty cool, too. And the fact that like you wanted to push those enough so that you had a pretty good position on the bike in the first place made the entire event awesome. It played out even cooler than I thought it would be.
And you couldn't be more correct, Hiller. Look at the difference between Laura and Alexa Raptis. I can't ever remember seeing a closer race. It's less than a second. It's less than a second that they came in. Yeah, that was a great foot race at the end. I loved seeing that. If I were, the disappointment was, and this, there's a lot of continuity here with a lot of the events we see that CrossFit does. Mal O'Brien's a superstar coming into the event, and we didn't get to see her much. We only knew basically, I think the first time I heard her name mentioned was she's coming across the finish line, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but I understand it. There's limited resources, only so many cameras, and what they worked with, I felt like they did an amazing job. If you're Danielle Brandon and you only did 4 laps, as an athlete, I'm guessing you're tempted to be like, fuck my management, they fucked me. Someone should have known.
That would have been the worst feeling in the world to be in a case like where
Yeah. Or sorry, Hiller. Fuck the judges. They should have told me. What is she? But the truth is to get to the next event, doesn't she have to just like take it on the chin? Like, how do you get past this? Go ahead, JR. Any thoughts? If you're Danielle Brandon's coach, what you tell her, or if you're more importantly, if you're Danielle Brandon, how she gets past this?
Mentally? Yeah, I don't know if there's any right thing to say right now. I just know that the look on like Lazar's face when he came across and looked around like, oh no, this isn't right. And like knew that he needed to go back out there because he knew that Koski was ahead, was like, that's gotta be the worst feeling.
He looked like he was going to cry. Let's face it. He had that little boy kind of contorted look. Yeah. Andrew, any thoughts on what can be said here to the athlete? Is it the manager's place now to console the judges, or what do you do if you're Danielle Brandon? Because she's got to get on to the next event, right? There's 12 more events.
It's the first event of the CrossFit Games, and I missed the finish of the female event, but I did watch the finish of the male event. I could only imagine being Spencer or Lazar at the end there, having thought that you maybe possibly won and then realizing it, and then you've got to sit there and wait for the person who had actually won to come on in. And, and we don't know why, but I'm under the assumption that it's the judges or some sort of system fault there and not at the fault of the athlete, because it looked like Lazar was being sent back and he was trying to continue on. And my biggest question forward is going to be like, is that 5 minutes going? I think I heard that somewhere, that they're going to be like dinging them 5 minutes. Have you heard that or no?
Yeah. That in the comments, that's what they're saying. We don't have anything official. Can you bring up the scoreboard and see if any penalties have been assessed, Caleb? Sam Herring, $20. Thanks, dude. Great coverage to cover this as soon as it happens. You're the man. I want to touch on one more thing here. Nicholas Sellers, you're wrong about the judging. Then the athlete would have to know what judge they need to see. Go ahead, Caleb.
The judges do a better job of keeping track of their athletes than the athletes of their judges.
Right, but what Nicholas is saying, he brings up a valid point. Let's say 4 bikers come across at the same time, and Tyler, Hill, or JR, and you might, or the judges, and two of you guys yell 3 laps to go and 2 of you yell 4 laps to go, the cyclist at that point, the athlete's gonna have to try to figure out what the fuck's going on, right? Okay, go ahead, Hiller. You want to respond to that?
There's no excuse for the age of like the technology that we have, and as simple as it's been in the past, where like if you're running 5 miles, you run 2.5 miles out, you grab a piece of rope or something and you bring it back and it's like, hey, I got the rope. There has to be something that they could have done to have made this easier, and it's ridiculous that there's a counting error here.
Why not just make it a 5-mile loop?
Right.
Like, why do they have to make it a five lap thing? I don't understand that.
That's a good. It's another. We're coming up with all sorts of solutions here. Tyler, I see you. Give me one more second. I'm tending to the people who are paying the bills. Jan Clark going broke today with his generosity. It couldn't have been made simpler. A 5-year-old could have counted the laps.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
I disagree.
It's count to 5. Count to 5.
Okay.
Come on. Why do you disagree?
Okay.
You can't count to 5, Sevan?
It couldn't have been simpler. Craig Ritchie could have counted the laps. Oh, that's not nice, Jan. I can't believe you said that. That's not cool. Clive McLaughlin. Not look at the no rep shirt. Hey, girl. Hi. What's your name?
That's Dents After 40 there.
Yeah.
Denise after Dents After 40.
Why does she have a no rep shirt on instead of a CEO shirt then? What the fuck? Oh, she's saving it for Sunday. She's saving it for Sunday.
Why do you have a no rep and not a CEO shirt on?
That's for Sunday. I'm trying to win the assault bike. I'll send you my address.
There you go. Awesome. Perfect.
Tell her she's one of the few people that looks prettier in person than in her picture. Good job. It's tough to do. Weren't all those ramps the sensors for the chips? I think I was thinking about the sensors playing a role too, but they don't actually count laps. They just tell you time, right? And they don't actually, those chips don't actually track your, they're not geo-tracking, are they? No,
I think it's just a timing chip.
Okay.
And
finally, Tyler, we're almost to athletes who can't count should do a lap of shame. I did like it that the men had their shirts off. I thought that was fucking cool. I want to give Medeiros points for that. Leaderboard is up. Elisa Carr Redao. Omar Echeverria. Uno Dolores. Racist. Thank you. I appreciate it. Brandon Reed, $20, Californian. That's awesome. Amazing content, Sevan. Don't ever change. I appreciate you and your opinion. Beaker was my favorite Muppet, by the way. I know he does LSD and shit. Jeremy Williams, y'all see the men's leaderboard on cfgames.com. We will go there right while we talk to Tyler Watkins in 2 seconds. Imagine the fans chanting no rep. Oh my goodness. Comments are fast and furious. Danny, $5. It all depends on the athlete briefing, in my opinion. Nothing else matters, even if the judges made a mistake and opened the entrance early. That is true. We do need to know the athlete briefing before we start being assholes. Tyler Watkins, welcome to the show for the second time today. Any thoughts on what we've been talking about so far?
Yeah, I mean, like, I saw an interaction. I was hopeful for Lazar and Spencer, but skeptical all at the same time. I saw the interaction between them and Bosman. I was like, it was positive. Like, neither of them looked upset. So I was like, it was very, like, on the floor, no one knew what was going on. There was a texting thread between all of us, and it was like no one knew from the phone, no one knew on the floor. But, like, everybody's saying in the comments, and I think Hiller was alluding to this, like, as someone who constantly screws up workouts, it's on your ass. Like, you need to know I'm in the fourth bike or I'm not. And so, like, tough luck, guys. You should have done it right.
What do you mean? You're saying as you personally, you're saying you mess up workouts, you'll be doing
constantly.
Yeah. Hey, and this is off subject a little bit, but when I mess up, if I'm not sure if I'm on rep 8 or 9, I always go back to 8. I
discount myself every time.
Yeah, you never fucking give yourself it's like, fuck you. Sometimes you got to go back and start the whole set over, right? As a penalty,
right.
Like you asshole.
Nothing feels worse than finishing when you weren't supposed to, because then you're the asshole.
Yeah, yesterday, you did a bit on Halpin's article, how there are no longer athletes that were affiliated with a CrossFit affiliate and what effect that could have. It'd be interesting if these athletes are affiliated with a CrossFit affiliate, because that's something that you learn in your first day of class, like how to count through your workouts.
Good point. You should have gone to an affiliate and you would have counted your shit right. Very interesting point by Omar here. One of the best characters on, probably one of the best characters in the entire history of television. Rest in peace, Omar, from, what was the name of the show? Out of Baltimore. He was a gangster. He was the homosexual gangster. He carried the shotgun in his, you know what I'm talking about? Omar.
Yeah.
Indeed. God, what's the name of that show? Someone tell me. The Wire. Wasn't Omar the best character in the history of television? You haven't seen The Wire, Hiller?
I haven't seen The Wire. I was
You
born in
have
the
to
90s.
see it.
When was this show a thing?
1974.
No way.
I know. Hiller just wants to make fun of me because I'm old. So I wanted to give him a alley oop there. He could dunk it. Just have judges ride on back with the athletes. It's another. I appreciate being solution oriented, but I want to read what Omar said. Omar said that, you made JR smile. We'll give you your money back for that. You win. Omar said that no one who skipped a lap should be placed higher than every single person who did 5 laps. I hate to say it, but I agree. Tyler Watkins, the scoring guy.
I have a question for JR.
It depends on the briefing. It depends on the judges. Sorry.
You can ask your question. Oh, good point. Good point, Hiller. Okay, go ahead, Tyler. He stole your answer. He stole the show from you, Tyler.
What would your contingent plan be in this situation? Like, you never think your own team's going to screw it up. I'm imagining that somebody probably on the game side might have messed something up, which alluded to the athlete. Again, I'm saying the athlete is ultimately responsible. But, like, what do you do in this case?
If you're Scott Panchek, you get out there and just start beating Spencer for fucking up the family name.
Yeah, so as someone who runs events, JR, like, what do you do in this?
Give them their money back and send them home.
No, so we did an event. No, so we did an event like this last year. It was called the Belton Run. It was like the burden run with pig flips and sleds and all that kind of stuff. And when the athletes went on their laps, they ran 4 200-meter laps around the gym with a sandbag on their shoulder. The judge just followed them out the door and stood next to the building and counted for them as they came in. And then when they came in to go to the pig flip, the judge followed them inside. So I think going ahead and thinking up a penalty for something, like if you don't do a lap, it's going to be 5 minutes added to your time. If you ever get off your bike when you're not supposed to get off your bike, unless you crash, it's a 5-minute penalty. And you just set those standards from the get-go and you just hold to those.
I wonder also when I took the police exam, the physical exam once, and we had to run 1.5 miles. And they separated us. I think there were like 20 or 30 of us there. And it was like each cop that was there that was counting, like, had 4 people, and they just watched those people and they counted. And so it's like, was no one out there doing that? And it's like, if you're only responsible for 4 people, that's not that hard. But again, okay, they screw it up. Now what do you do?
Hey, how about this, Tyler? What about the person who didn't do 5 laps that they're not going to catch?
Oh yeah, good for you. You got away with it.
well, because if what's happening on this end is happening, then you have to assume it's happening in reverse also. If you reverse engineer it, it's happening.
Right. For all the ones that you know about, there's also ones that you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. There's someone who took 17th who should have taken 27th.
Right.
And they don't even know it either. They don't know it. Trust me. I don't think Ricky Garard came in thinking I don't think he came in thinking that he was pulling it off. I mean, how stupid would they be if they thought they were going to enter the stadium with all those people there and cameras on them? Like, no one knowingly cheated.
Maybe you all have already hashed this out, but like, has anybody figured out if Yona did 6 laps? Because I'm hearing reports he did 6 laps.
I did hear reports of that too,
which is crazy because he still beat everyone.
Minutes.
Say that again, Caleb.
They were lapping at like 15, 16 minutes per lap. I don't think that would have been possible.
Me either, but there were several people on the floor saying that they thought he did an extra lap. But I mean, like, everybody, there's claims going everywhere. No one has any clue what's going on online.
Hey, dude, he fucking lapped Travis Mayer.
I don't think there's any way that the fastest times were 5 minutes ahead of the female times, and that's where it is right now.
No, I mean, and you guys were part of that thread. Like, from a Z-score standpoint, I was like, this is crazy. These athletes are so much better than them at this one event. And I was like, this would be nuts. But then I was like, wait a minute. Did they screw this
he
up?
said Z-score, and I watched our numbers just drop 1,000 viewers. It just went like
Piece of shit. Piece of shit. Sorry, I got to throw it in there.
Catherine Schaefer, 10 of your money. Thank you. That's I bet you that's a lot. I am Hop. What would you guys do to Jukic and Panchik? How would you place them? Let me just ask you this, JR, put you on the spot, just really hardcore. Can they place higher than a guy who does the penalty have to be severe enough that they're behind everyone? I mean, they didn't do the event.
Right. But I'm in the camp that they proved that they were one of the fittest on that event. So giving them a harsh penalty like 5 minutes, which is closer to 2-lap penalty than a 1-lap penalty based on their split times, is more appropriate than just putting them behind everyone that just chose to finish it slowly.
Tied for last place. Okay. Hiller, what do you think about do you agree with JR?
I think, well, do we know that a lap was taking about 2.5 minutes? Because you just said 5 minutes would be equivalent to a 2-lap penalty.
Yeah,
and
right.
He said that.
I would say more. That would probably be closer to a 2-lap penalty than a 1-lap penalty.
Yeah, he's right, Hiller, because Caleb just pulled up a split times, and it looks like JR spot on.
Okay, so I think a 3-minute. What I would have done is I would have not had the leaderboard finalized yet, unless they had this set beforehand, because the leaderboard set so quick with that 5-minute penalty. You would go and see who of the 40 male athletes had the slowest final lap, and then you put that on top of the people who had skipped it. That's what I would do, or something close like that. But that's hard to do after the fact. It looks like they had it set up beforehand.
Just have judges right on the back of the bikes. We had that one already. Let's see what else we got here. $5 for Tyler for dealing with me and my lawn chair leaderboarding.com league. You're a fucking legend, unlike Mr. Richie. Mike Sauer, a lap time of slowest athlete overall, 40th place gets added to their time.
See, I don't like it.
I don't like that either.
0 score.
Oh, 0 score.
You didn't do the workout.
Tied for last place. The chips and then if they pop up, be like, hey, next we kick you out. So shut up. Jason, $5 from California. The chips give you split times. So if you don't have 5 splits, then you didn't ride 5 laps. Take their slowest. Jason, do you know that? That was one of the questions we had. Are the chips giving split times? They do ride over that bump, and that bump is full of cords and shit. I wonder if there's sensors in there. Did you see that? Do you know which bump I'm talking about? That yellow thing?
Yeah.
They put it.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was for.
But you thought it was for split times? You think there's a chip tracker in there also?
It might just be a point where they have to cover up all the extension cords from the booths and all that kind of stuff.
Radiating all the athletes.
There is like a sensor somewhere.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they included yesterday's lap. I mean, the solution orientedness of this crowd is unbelievable. The shiz. And I don't know how Jay Crouch did. That was my pick for the Tyler Watkins Fitness Fantasy League. I don't think he did well. Rainier Klages, something 5 from somewhere, Chechnya. There should be a fixed camera at the finish lap line so you can review the count athletes crossing. You know what? I bet you they do have that. Torvad, 5 from something. Europe, backward. You got your Let's say it looks like an E. Most athletes at this level are self-aware. Well, wait a second. In my opinion, they skimmed voluntarily. Holy shit. I don't even know what that means, but I don't like the sound of it. Eric Utley, DNF, did not finish. That's Tyler Watkins' sentiment. Just be lucky we're not kicking you the fuck out of the event. Hiller, can you rotate your phone sideways? That is from our private chat. Thank you.
Have you all gone over the next event? Because it is awfully wet out there.
Okay. No, we have not. Let me just
Phrasing.
say some positive things here. about the women. Let me go over some of my notes. You guys chime in if you want to. Matilda Garnes was the first one to get off the bar, but she made the mistake of not being the first one on the bike, and Tia Toomey took the lead. Sounds like it was an error on Matilda's part. There was a small wreck right away. These were 10-speed bikes. It was very obvious for anyone who rode a bike to school every day that half the pack did not know how to use gears. Laura took the lead right away. Tia took the lead right away, and Laura made a statement by passing her, and I think having up to a 15-second lead at some point, and then lost it when they came in for the chest bar. The group was having audio problems. We could hear the walkie-talkie guys talking. I kind of liked it. Emily Rolfe
commentary
was impressive, letting the world know that I know my CrossFit athletes. No sign or mention of Mal even after 2 laps. Emma Lawson, crazy impressive. Michelle Moran doesn't look like she's ever been on a bike. Tia absolutely destroyed the pull-ups. What we saw Tia do on the pull-up bar is why she is going to dominate the games this year. JR, thoughts on Tia's pull-ups?
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about Laura hanging on for a big set, Haley hanging on for a big set, but then by the time Tia got to her last set of pull-ups, she was already in the lead. I want to say she did them in 4 sets, which is super impressive. It may have been, I think it was 4 sets. At
speed, too.
After a ton of grip fatigue, holding on to that bike for 15 minutes.
I never... Go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead.
I just saw her like running up to the pull-up bar and starting her set almost immediately. Like Laura, when she got to the pull-up bar, she took probably 20, 30 seconds just chalking her hands before she even hopped up on the bar. Like Haley hopped on the bar 5 or 10 reps after Laura did.
Alexa Raptis, third on the bike for the second round of bikes, making quite a statement for herself. I never saw a single woman stand, which is another sign. And I did see Medeiros and the boys and Koski on the hill stand. How that's not just intuitive for people, just to, when you hit a hill, to just stand and give a couple pumps, or right at the beginning when they ran with their bikes and jumped on, not to stand and get a couple pumps to get ahead. I have no fucking idea. I am not like I'm just a kid who rode my bike to school every day. And I know that shit. It's kind of amazing.
A note about Alexis.
Please.
I contacted everybody I knew at TTT and was like, how is she on a bike? And they were like, they've been working on this a lot. And she's not afraid to get aggressive. I'm really bummed out I didn't play her. I went safe with Emily Rolfe. But yeah, I was very impressed. That was a big statement for her. I feel like.
Speaking of impressed, can we look at Brooke Well? Can we look at the female leaderboard? The commentators were saying she came top 10, which is crazy impressive to me, most improved, because she was one of those girls that I saw on a bike in Madison a couple years ago, who it looked absolutely dangerous for her to be on a bike. Did she come in top 10 here? Lucy Campbell. Okay, no. Oh, 12, still not bad, man. Wow. Do we know, do Europeans, can you break people up by continent? Do Europeans normally do better at biking events? I mean, biking seems to be like a more of their thing, right? We drive around in SUVs, they ride bikes.
We don't really do that here. A friend I have moved to Amsterdam, and he was on a bike all the time, and then he moved back over to like Ohio or something, and he was like, I realized I felt weird because like usually when we see people on bikes, we just think they're poor.
Fair. I love it. That's like Phoenix, Arizona. They have the best sidewalk network system in any big city I've ever seen in my life. The sidewalks are wide. There's nobody on the sidewalks. No one walks there. Pat looked like a fucking rhino on his bike. Like he looked like he was capable of knocking someone else. If you got close to him, you were going to get hit. There's like a wobble in him, like an inefficiency wobble. But you're crazy if you rode next to him. We talked about Lazar. We saw Colton get lapped, and I was happy because at least that gave him some screen time. It's your Colton Mertens.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, we'll take what we can get. Get your Colton Mertens card from Wad Zombie right now, or you can order it at Wad Zombie, or you can go to vindicate.com. It's spelt funny. Spencer Panchik, I just have a oh shit. We covered that pretty extensively. That Spencer and Lazar came in too early. Can we look before we take Tyler Watkins' lead and look at the next event and talk about the weather? Can we go look at both leaderboards, men and women, and take a peek and see what's going on over there? Okay. So in first place, we have Haley Adams, Tia Toomey, Emma Lawson. Does anyone have any problems with that? That seems extremely accurate to me. And I think the big name there is Emma Lawson, the 17-year-old.
Yeah, lots of youth in that top 6. Raptis, O'Brien, Lawson, Adams, all really young.
Yeah, half the pack's under 25, right? In the top 6, 7. And then where we start to have our first issue is where we know that the leaderboard's is not correct yet. Is we have Danielle Brandon in 8th place, and something must not be right there because we know that she was further behind. Let's see what the time difference is there. 39:38. Now let's go and see what did Haley Adams get? And we know Haley lapped her
35, I think.
38:23. Okay. So really Danielle's time was probably going to be closer to 42 or 43. 44 and maybe even.
Unless they give her a 5-minute penalty.
Okay, and let's keep scrolling down and see what we got here, Caleb. Souza, thanks for all the video from the event. It's cool seeing that as we do the show in real time. Go Emma McQuaid, Cara Saunders, Gabby Magawa. No other women besides Danielle Brandon right now are being thought of as doing too many laps, right?
I haven't heard of anyone else.
Okay. Let's keep going. I am hearing now, I just got a text message that there could be as many as 10 men who need their scores changed.
That sounds right.
Wow. Okay. Let's go down to the bottom there, Caleb, and look at the bottom 10. I'm just curious if there's any changes we can see going on there. Let me see 40th place. I can't see it. I think that was Christine Kohlenbrander. Okay. So wow, look at that, guys. She's 33 seconds away from the time cap.
Perfect cap.
Yeah, she was pretty close.
Crazy.
Did anybody play her?
God, I hope so. I can't even remember who
I bet Brian probably played Kohlenbrander.
I played Luca. I'm pretty much fucked there. Or Lazar,
right.
sorry, Lazar.
Alrighty. Okay. Let's go over to the men's leaderboard and then we'll talk about the shuttle run jerk. Good start for Haley Adams. Okay. So Spencer Panchik at the top, then Lazar Jukic, then Ricky Garard. But are we all in agreement that first place is Yanikoski, even though he's sitting in 4th there?
Definitely.
I think so. There's only two and a half minutes faster than Haley's time.
Tyler, why are these up on the board already? Does that mean they have some high-tech shit that automatically is reporting the scores to the board?
I would imagine it's the default. I mean, probably JR can speak to this a little bit closer than I can, but I would imagine the scores get reported to the scoring table and they just type. They have one job and it's type.
Yep.
And then you can make adjustments later. And that's why everybody who's like looking at the leaderboard right now, like, hey, things are wrong, is like, this means nothing. Like until the end of the night. It's like, yeah, we can speculate on it, but it's not clear.
Okay, let's do a little speculation. I want to see if they give 5 minutes to Lazar, or if they give 5 minutes to Spencer, that'll put him at 38:56. Now let's find my homeboy on there. Let's find my homeboy on there. Where is he?
38:56 was 21st place.
Oh, darn it. Okay. So even if you give him 5 minutes penalty, he still beats Colton Mertens. Well, fuck.
The spread on that's really, really tight. What was a lap time? What was like an average lap time? Do we know?
I saw the two things I've seen lap times ranging from 2:30 to 3 minutes for the men, but I think that was looking at whoever Yanikoski's times.
Yeah.
And then I also saw someone put up in the chat during the event that the guys were going around at about 18.5 miles per hour, but that might be for the fastest guys.
Considering all the places that you can mess up in this workout, how many breaks you can take during the gymnastics, your transition on the bike, your transition to the bike, something you might, your lap time, these scores are really tight. Even for with the consideration of people messing up and not doing a lap, they're still really tight. So
why do you think that someone like Travis Mayer, Brent Fikowski, and Colton Mertens are all clumped up together like this? You think this biking was a skill? Is this a high skill workout?
I think the comfortability on the bike probably mattered 2 to 3 minutes of total time, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
If they did this workout on a stationary Concept 2 bike, the exact same workout, 75, 5 miles, 75, I don't think the leaderboard would look anything like this.
Would Brent be at the top?
I think he would be toward the top just because of how powerful and how well he buffers lactate.
Let's see the final four. Let's see the four guys who are at the bottom of the heap.
Well, there's an interesting. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, there's an interesting point here because I thought Emily Rolfe was going to do well and she didn't do that well. And Colton's sort of a counterpoint to this, but she was much longer than everybody who did pretty well. And I'm like, well, maybe just the amount of gymnastics that she had to do, maybe that time made the difference. I don't know. Like I said, Colton's the counterpoint to that, but for Brent and some of those guys, they're quite a bit longer.
The difference. Thank you for all your hard work. This is great. Was good to see Haley win one. But what do y'all think of Emma Lawson keeping up? Yeah, Emma Lawson's a beast. Sorry, I should say your name. Matthew Murphy. Thank you. Michael C. I'm stuck on the fact of the DNF stuff. Which one of you thinks that it should be a DNF? Tyler, you do?
It's me. Yeah. But if it's only a few. Now, if it's half the field, so say one guy say Danielle screwed up and goes in early or something, and then 4 people follow her because they're like, well, I'm definitely right behind Danielle and she's going in, then you have a bigger problem on your hand. But if 1 or 2 people screw up in seclusion, DNF them.
So, and you guys think that JR and Hiller, you think it shouldn't be a DNF, did not finish. Oh, you do think it should be a DNF, Hiller?
It totally depends on the athlete briefing and who the responsibility falls upon based upon what they were told in that briefing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because what is the point? What is the point? I guess we can't know I guess it's just really poor speculation until we know what the briefing is. Because on one hand, you want to do what's fair, or do you want to do what's right?
Thank you.
Or do you want to do what's best for the competition? I guess you have to know what your wow, look at those guys. Holy shit. See the guys in the ice baths? That guy in the right's unconscious. Someone pull him out. Does anyone see that? That guy's unconscious. Oh no, he opened his eyes. Oh, there he is.
Maybe you can speak to this, maybe you can't, Sevan, but Dave's definitely been through this several times. Have you ever been there while he has to go through these decisions and make them based on?
Yeah, I wish I could give some insight into that. I can't think of anything that jumps out at me. I mean, the event when I think Matt Fraser was running an event one time and a weight fell out of his backpack.
Right. But he did, well, no, he didn't. Did he go back and get that weight?
I'm not sure what. No, I don't think he noticed it. And that that started becoming the speculation because he looks back when the weight falls out, but he doesn't look at the ground. And so did he know? Did he not know? And then you can't, I don't think you can do all that. I think there has to be some, there has to be something in place or something that's just set based on some ideology or thought process. And I'm not sure what that is.
Right.
But I'd like to hear someone who can think clearly about it, spit it out.
So if Dave can call in, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. Good job. Okay. Caleb, can you pull up the next workout? We're off to, Chase Ingram. What's he doing? Probably taking a shit or something, dropping a deuce. Does Chase deuce? You think Chase deuces? Commentators
Not making
deuce?
his play in his fantasy app. He screwed that up.
I only eat raw meat, so I don't deuce. The next event is a shuttle run, rest, shuttle run, max jerks, shuttle run, max jerks, shuttle run, max jerks with some resting in there. JR, if it is even a little bit wet.
No, they should not. No, they should not do the workout as written. And I think the most likely substitute is going to be a strict press from the blocks. Because you don't have to move your feet.
I am on my way to Madison and it's pouring.
Because you don't have to move your feet, and because even if the bar is wet, they can still do it safely.
Okay. Hey, Souza, can you ask James Townsend? Is James Townsend right there? Can you get James Townsend? James.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let's get him here real quick.
Hey, James, can we ask you a couple questions real quick? You're live right now. Go ahead.
Quick question. If it is even a little bit moist, do they have to scratch? If the turf is even a little bit moist, do they have to scratch the jerk and put in a different movement?
If the ground's even a little bit moist, do you think they're going to scratch the jerk and have to bring in a new movement? Absolutely.
And what is that movement?
Oh, no, you're breaking up.
And Souza, what is that movement? JR says that movement will probably be a strict press.
Oh, no, that thing's bad.
Well, James looks good on our end. Hey, what will the movement be that they replace the jerk with? Will it be a strict press?
Do you think they'll switch the movement to a strict press? Something less dynamic? Push press or a strict press? No?
No, the whole point is to do something on heavy legs.
You have to go deadlift.
He thinks that the safest movement that they would do would be deadlift, nothing overhead.
Because of safety or because of it being a similar movement? And he's gone. Thank you, Souza. All right. We brought up the other guy who's on a car phone. Okay. Car phone. Like I'm from 1988. Stop.
How did you know I was using a car phone?
Stop. Just a brain fart. What do you think about that, JR? Deadlift. And I think he's thinking deadlift because of the lower extremities that would be taxed.
Yeah, no, that's another good assumption. I would think one of those two. I can't see them doing bench press, and if they're not going to do anything dynamic, I don't think they would do anything other than those two.
What about hold on, let's check in with Souza. All good, Souza. Thank you.
Okay, so did you guys hear there is going to be potentially a move to a strict press?
No, tell us. Did you?
Yeah. So somebody just told me that from Underdog Athletics, somebody from there said that they are switching it to a strict press.
Wow.
Are you a wizard?
Broken clocks right twice a day, Tyler.
Hey, this guy's right every 5 minutes, and he always uses that same thing. He only has a 5-minute clock. He has a 10-minute watch, and every 5 minutes he's right. Oh my goodness. Let me see.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, my internet's so bad right there.
Hey, there's no way Ricky Garard won that event, is there? Now I just received a text that there is belief now. There is suspicions that maybe Ricky won the event.
I still don't think he could have been ahead of Yana.
Yeah.
How? He's a BMX guy.
Well, because
man. What? Sorry. Hold on. Let Souza go. Go, Souza.
They just said a big announcement. Severe weather is approaching. Take shelter or return to your vehicles. And it looks like everybody right now is clearing out.
Hey, I want to tell you something crazy. I was there one time at Madison, and the tent blew over, and it was like the third biggest tent there. It was fucking huge. It could have held 500 people under it. I'm trying to remember whose it was. It was some supplement companies, and the tent blew over, and no one was there, right? Because they had warned severe weather warning. If people would have been there, fucking 100 people would be dead. This thing fucking just picked up off the ground, moved over, and then just slammed. It was seriously, it looked like fucking God did it. Like it just bam, like how you would smash a bunch of bugs. It was crazy. So I would take that shit seriously, but not you and Heidi. You guys stay there and risk your lives so we can get reporting, please.
Of course.
Wait, let's hear that.
It just says severe weather approaching. Take shelter. Return to your vehicles.
And is that Sean Woodland's voice? Do they have him do it? Hello, I'm the voice of CrossFit. Please return to your cars.
I don't know.
I would listen to it if he said it.
Time.
Oh my God. Go over to where that is and grab the mic and Susan be like, don't be a pussy. Stay and compete.
Yeah, everybody's definitely leaving. This thing is turning out pretty quickly now.
Okay. I think we are going to get Justin Kotler on in a moment, and we will find out. We had started speculating what the next movement is. Oh, shit. Hiller just gave us the weather conditions. Holy shit. Okay.
I got
any hail?
I got about 5 minutes, Sevan.
You have 5 minutes? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Same.
Hiller, any hail or just rain?
Just rain so far. I saw a lightning strike maybe 5 minutes ago.
And how far are you from the venue?
Probably 20 minutes.
Okay. Hey,
30 minutes.
they must have taken down the feed because our numbers are fucking escalating. Welcome to the show. Gray, thank you. If they stop this event, it looks like people actually really are leaving. If they do this, will the plan be, how important is it that they still get in the same number of events? Or do they just start scratching events? Go ahead, Hiller, you first. How important is it that they make, let's say they lose 2 events today. Let's say now all of a sudden the CrossFit Games is 11 instead of 13 events.
I don't think they can do that. They can't do that.
They've never missed an event, have they? We've never scratched an event.
They've got backups for every event.
Yeah.
So you're saying it is important that they do all the events. JR saying it one way, that they have a backup, and Hiller saying that they can't.
In the complete test of fitness, you have to have the full field of events. Because, like, what if this is the event that the winner should have done shitty on, and then they wouldn't have won as a result?
But what about the whole act of God thing? You know, it's the weather. It's like, hey.
You're saying that God didn't want whoever to be the fittest in that point, or what?
No, I'm just saying that that's how you get your money back on a plane ticket. If it's an act of God, you get your money back. If it's just you being a jackass and did too much coke the night before, you don't.
Well, here's the thing, too, you got to think about. There's a reason why event 2A and 2B are after the first event. There's an event that what follows event 2A and 2B is there. There's a reason for all of it. So if you change the movements too much, then what the next workout tests is no longer as relevant. So like, let's just say that you do deadlift instead of strict press. Well, maybe tonight's movement is a complex handstand movement or another upper body movement, and he wants to see whose shoulders are still recovered from the heavy jerks. Then at that point, it goes out the window.
Right. Justin Kotler, hi.
Hey, bud. How we doing?
Good. There is some serious speculation and belief that several athletes only did 4 laps.
Yes,
at least one woman, Danielle Brandon, your old athlete, and maybe up to 10 men, including maybe one of the best bikers out there, Ricky Garard. We're trying to figure. We weren't in the athlete briefing. Were you in it?
Yeah.
Who do they talk about? Whose responsibility it is to know what lap they're on in that briefing?
I'm pretty sure when they briefed them, honestly, I didn't hear it today, but according to them the other day, I'm pretty sure they said it's up to the athletes to count.
Well, thank you, Justin. It was nice talking to you. There's no reason to be rude and get off so abrupt. Oh, there you're back. Hi.
No, yeah. Can you guys hear me? Let me see if I can get Wi-Fi.
We hear you great. The audio is fantastic.
If he wants to come up to the press area, he can use this rig.
Okay.
But I can tell you that according to Ricky, he is adamant that he did 5 laps. He came off the chest of bars 5th. He was in a group with Adler, Medeiros, Roman, who could see Koski the entire time. He said he was creeping up, and on the final lap, he went ham sandwiches. He caught Koski on the final hill, and he out-sprinted him. According to him, He says he is 100% positive he did 5 laps. I'm just relaying what he said because I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it. Some of these events, I get a little nervous and I can't watch. So
okay, and I have a quote here from Ricky. Ricky texted me himself, and he said, "I can only count to 5, and I maxed out my counting." So he knows he did 5.
Yeah, he said he feels 100% positive that he did 5 laps. So
that's awesome.
I can only tell you what he's saying.
You know who would know? You know, Koski knows.
Yeah, Koski didn't say anything to me
because he knows if Ricky passed him or not. Because that was like oh fuck moment for him.
Right. I mean, my assumption, according to Ricky, he was in it. Like I said, he was in that group. He got off the chest of bars right around fifth place. And he felt, and he said Koski was in touch the entire time. What you know, how far back, I'm not sure, guys. Honestly, this is really just going exactly by what he said. So
okay. Let me ask you this: there were judges. Each athlete had one judge on the field, right? At the pull-up bar and at the toes to bar bar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And did each judge have an athlete on? Did each athlete also have a judge that was on? No.
I don't believe so. No.
There wasn't a judge who was like, hey, watch your guy on the bike race, stand here and count how many laps they do.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they were scattered about, kind of make sure they didn't go off course.
So they're field of play judges, not judges for accuracy of laps. How about the chips? Do the chips count how many laps you do?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I think it's I think we're looking at a shit show of situation. I don't know that we're going to get a resolution that's actually correct, other than it seems relatively certain that Lazar and Spencer did one less lap. If you just look at their time,
right?
It seems like that seems pretty obvious, and they didn't argue about that. I believe they both appealed just because of the process. They said they were waived in, so they're saying it was a judge's error. So I think this is all speculation, guys. That's kind of what I'm what I've seen. But I don't know exactly what they're going to do. According to a few of the people I've spoken to, they said they're checking videos now, trying to figure it out. But I'll be honest with you, it looked to me like the feed cut out at times because of the rain. And I think, I'm not sure that they really even have the video evidence to go back and see what exactly happened. So
here's what I'm hearing. The problem is if the chips didn't count the laps, if there were no judges counting laps, then that part of the race was on the honor system. And at that point, Spencer and Lazar, as much as their times might not make sense, you have to then be like, well, shit, maybe the other guys did 6 laps. I mean, if no one can count, how the fuck do you score it if you want to be 100% fair?
Right. I listen, I'm in agreement with you. I just kind of feel like at this point, unless you have like 100%, you can't speculate. Like, unless you know
you can't 100%, speculate.
Fuck no, it's too important. You know, if you
do you know in tennis,
yeah, go ahead.
You know that rule in tennis, right, Kotler? If you don't know 100% it's in, it's out. Like if you have 1% of 1% doubt, because there's no judges in tennis until you get to the very highest level.
Yeah.
And so you can't speculate.
No. This is I don't know, guys. I mean, listen, it's I wish this is not the way things started.
I like it.
I know it gives you stuff to talk about, but as a coach, you fucking hate to see this. You don't want to see people penalized. Like Lazar and Spencer were doing incredibly. Like they should have finished top 5. You know what I mean? They were going to finish top 5, or I guess there was a group there that was like 6 or 7. They were in the top 6 or 7. That's an excellent finish, no matter and right? I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, you guys would have the scores in front of you. I don't know all the times, but and then
it's all messed up. It's all the times and scores are all messed up. Like the leaderboard's the leaderboard's jacked up.
I'm definitely more stressed right now than Ricky. He's fucking laid back. He feels like he's like Coach, don't worry. He's like, I did 5 laps. I'm positive. So, but I'm like, of course, as a coach, until it's 100.
Kotler, before we lose you, I want to switch subject on you. Do you have any fears about the weather, and are you leaving the venue with your athletes?
So we are suspended right now for severe weather. I think it's relatively obvious that they're going to change the event. It's going to be sprint and strict press, according to what I've heard. We don't know loads yet, but I don't see how you can put them out there. The field's going to continue to be wet. Can't dry the field. You can't put them out there and do 300 and 200 pound jerks. That would be incredibly irresponsible. And I can't imagine, even if it stops, I can't imagine that they're going to do that. That would be, I mean, Jesus, imagine if somebody hurt themselves. That would just be, I mean, fuck, after what just happened.
So are you suggesting that the show with the athletes goes on, even though the spectators are being sent home?
So I think they cleared the stands, but I think they're planning on coming back when the weather passes, which I think is a couple hours. So I think everything's just going to be pushed back. I'd be surprised if they, I mean, I guess unless they move everything to tomorrow, right? I mean, it's an off day, but I guess you could do that. I don't know, man. It looks ugly out though. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, but the fans have been sent home. They've been told the venue is not safe to go to their cars and get the fuck out.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
And it is pouring rain now. It is pouring rain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pouring.
Souza, Kotler's a VIP and he's indoors. Don't talk to him directly. Talk to me if you have anything you want to say. And
Excuse me. Of course. Sorry,
yes,
Mr. Kotler.
Yes.
But yeah, it's so I'm curious to see. I mean, I can tell you right now that when Boz said strict press this morning as the sub, man, this fucking.
He did say that. He did say that.
Oh
okay.
Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he said that I thought he was joking. So initially I thought it was a joke, but then when he said, contingent on the weather. If the weather's good, we'll do the event as written. If it rains, we will run and then we will strict press. But we do not know the loads.
Okay. Mr. Kotler, thank you so much. Extremely insightful. You are the kind of person that makes this the best place for people to get their news about the 2022 CrossFit Games. Thank you.
Dude, good talking to you guys. I'm sure we'll catch up again.
Okay, later, brother. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay, it's too bad we don't have Hiller and JR here or Taylor to continue the thought on this. But basically what we are hearing is in the briefing, the athletes told they were responsible. So that does cover CrossFit Games ass. We are told that Ricky Garard is certain he did 5 laps and that he does remember he did sprint past Yanikoski at the end, and it was when the cameras weren't on him. We still are uncertain on whether the chips were counting laps, but if they were not, we do have a serious fucking problem, especially if there were holes in the video coverage. And the final thing, which is exciting to know, is that in the athlete briefing, they were told that if it pours, if it rains, they will do strict presses. But what's interesting is I don't think that could, I think, change again because it is so much rain. And by the way, it looks like, do you want to comment on that, Tyler, before I ask Susan where he is and what's going on?
I'm gonna hop off and go do some digging on that, because like the stimulus is very different. Yeah, it's strict press, but like really the limiting factor in that workout is your legs more so than it is you're going to be limited by your ability, like your strength overhead, but your legs are going to get very heavy. And so making that a strict press seems a little ignorant to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So yeah, I'm going to jump off.
And I think James Townsend agreed with you.
Yeah. I think James, I would rather do deadlift or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't program.
All right.
Games.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you.
I'll be back. See you.
Okay. Imagine I told all these fucking knuckleheads this is going to be the biggest show in the fucking space during the week. All the other feeds are down. We have the largest live audience ever. And where the fuck is Brian Friend, J.R. Howell, Taylor the Thumb Self, You jackasses. Jackasses. Let's see what's going on with Matthew Souza. You fucking it all up, you guys. Don't worry, I'm still climbing my way to the top, but like, you guys know. Let's do games coverage. We're all in, Sevy. We're all in. Fucking Caleb's all in, and he's stuck in some fucking place with the fucking Costco fucking ghetto fucking air conditioner.
Not America.
These motherfuckers. Mr. Hiller, thanks for coming back on.
Imagine, I told all these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Listen.
What's up?
I know Alexis made you get back on. She said, yo, if you want to marry me, you better get on the Sevan podcast and put some fucking followers on.
That's exactly how it went down. We had different phone services. I was on her phone, and then we switched phones. We're trying to figure it out, but it's working out. The rank's not by me.
And your audio went to ass. Your audio was better before. I mean, you sound like you're in a tin can now.
Did you shit now?
Yeah. Maybe
it's the same setup. Interesting.
Okay.
Right. Sorry.
That's okay. Did you hear some of the stuff that we heard? Oh, that is what I'll do. Thank you. I'm going to send a link to Rich Froney. He won't let me down. He knows what's up. Did you hear some of the stuff that we just found out from
the strict press? I was raging. You can't just throw a strict press in. It completely changes it. Also, do we know how they're doing the run? Is it shuttle run-esque? They're going down and back?
I believe so, and I do think that they pulled the shuttle run out. That Adrian said that they would not have that if it did get wet because it's dangerous.
So how are they going to do it then?
That's a good question. Oh, I should have asked Kotler that. If one of you guys would have been on the show to fucking help me.
Yeah. My bad.
But I take all personal responsibility and accountability for it because the buck here stops with me.
My man.
Move your eyebrows around for me. Yeah, thank you.
Anything for you, man. Whatever you need.
So, they are sending the fans home. Although, let's ask Susan what's going on. Susan, are the fans actually going to their cars and leaving, or are they just going and spending money?
It looks like they're just going and spending money. It's so crowded in that vendor village now. It's nuts.
Uh-oh. What is this? Is this true? Have you heard about anyone withdrawing from the competition?
Oh.
Why would that be the case?
I don't know.
Didn't she just do well on that event?
I don't know. Someone said she withdrew because Danielle only did 4 laps. Luke said that Morning Chalk Up posted that Emily Rolfe is withdrawn, and the Morning Chalk Up just sits there. Andrew Weinstein, the PR guy, has an absolute duty as he sits on LaFranco's face to report everything directly to LaFranco. So I'm guessing that that's a pretty good source, straight from the ass to the mouth. I shouldn't be left alone on here. I'm going to start getting really crass. At least when I look at JR, I see an adult, and I start to clean it up a little bit. Emily Rolfe has withdrawn from the individual competition, and Tom Mulbeer has withdrawn from the men's 65 plus competition because his pacemaker stopped working. All right, fine.
Wasn't he the top seeded guy coming into the competition for the 65 plus?
I don't know. We would need Brian here for that.
Oh, I'm telling you, he was.
Thank you. Okay, fine. But you said it like you were trying to be humble. Like, wasn't he? But now you're.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, fuck you. I'm right.
I got like a 92% on that one.
Okay.
Have you talked at all about the fact that they're going to possibly change it to strict presses, because that completely changes the event?
Okay, tell me why. I actually like the strict press, but Townsend and someone else were saying, I can't remember. Tyler Watkins were saying, you need something that taxes the legs also for it to be comparable.
Oh yeah, why do you like the strict press?
Because I'm just a fucking knucklehead, and in my L1 they teach you press, push, jerk, and so I think, okay, if one doesn't work, you switch to the next one.
It's because he's old and he doesn't have the coordination to do jerks.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get boxes of water up onto the fridge, buddy.
There are.
I'm done carrying my wife around the room when we get kinky. You're that's the kind of shit you do.
Yeah.
Done. Those days, that window's closed for me.
So with that being the case, I would prefer the strict press if we're using a parallel right there. But there are very high level weightlifters and God, I wish I had their names in my mind, but they will be able to strict press. Let's say a male can jerk 405 pounds. Okay, Sevan? There have been instances in which they can't strict press 185 pounds.
No shit.
Very, very true. Yes. And that's because they're using their legs to drive it overhead. And then once the bar is overhead and they can establish the lockout, they're very stable in their shoulders. So it's an entirely different movement, entirely changes the event. And part of the difficulty in it would have been the fatigue that they would have been accumulating from pushing the pace on the runs. And if it's entirely leg and then it's entirely upper body, it's completely changing it again. And I mean, it's just as bad as if I shouldn't say it's just as bad as if they didn't have it, but it's pretty bad.
Tony Andrews, Sevan is a beta and lets his wife dominate in the bedroom. That's almost true. Let me just do a little correction on there. Sevan is a beta and lets my mom dominate in the room. But other than that, you got it right, Tony. But thank you. His mom. His mom.
Okay.
His mom.
Okay.
His mom. Let me.
Okay.
Sevan is a beta and lets Tony's mom dominate in the room.
Okay.
Oh fuck, Tony! I let your mom dominate in the room. That's what I'm trying to say, asshole. Okay. Hiller, when you talk, can you turn the mic to your mouth just a tiny bit? Would that give us a little bit more baritone? Speaking of betas, you sound just horrible.
Is it this? Does this help? Are talking
No, you know what it is?
Is
Those
over here?
earpieces aren't working. It's your mic on your phone that's turned on. You see that?
Is that better?
I mean, your nose is clean. Looks like you haven't done any blow in a while.
Not recently, no. 1 second. I got something. 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay. Caleb, can you pull up? Do we know what the third event is? Oh, no. They're supposed to announce that this afternoon. I know. I totally botched that. I was on track, Sid. I was on track. I don't even get this. Sevan only has sex in the Amazon position. Like Amazon, like Amazonian women.
Like you get picked up? Is that what, you get carried? Is that how that works?
Emily wasn't allowed into the Noble tent because she is a hustle athlete and Craig didn't set up a tent. I wonder if that's true. Let's ask Souza for an update here while we wait for Hiller to get his shit together.
It's either better or it's not.
Souza, how are things going?
I think they're
Souza.
going good. They're like, this lady here is stopping people from going that way, and they're trying to push everybody out and then shuttle them into the vendor village or here in this spectator workout area. So that's basically what's happening.
Point me to where the actual venue is, where the event was taking place. Can you point the camera in that direction?
Yeah, so you would go down this way, and then you would make the left, and that's where the actual venue was. So that way, and then make the left. And you can see how everything's closed up over there now. That was all opened up before. And medical staff here, and then a couple people back there are blocking and pushing everybody back this way.
Okay. And is it still raining where you are?
No, it stopped raining now. It stopped raining. It came down pretty hard for a little bit and then just kind of stopped. So everything's wet now, but it's not raining.
Any wind?
No wind, a little bit, but nothing crazy.
Thunder and lightning?
Not that I've seen yet, but the clouds are looking pretty dark.
Okay, so this lady's sending those people back right there. Those people right there. Okay, let's watch someone get sent back. Let's watch this lady in the summer dress get tossed around.
There you go.
Bye-bye. Get the fuck back.
Denied.
Back to your car, yeah.
Do you want me to try it and they'll turn me around on camera?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see what happens.
Okay, let's try.
I think that's
even
Katina.
With the media pass.
That's Katina. She was with Danielle Brandon with the.
Oh yes, it is Katina Thornton. Hey,
I'm sorry.
They were gonna boot me. How long do you guys expected this thing to be closed down before they let people back in? Any word on that? No. And you guys are just clearing everybody out of the venue and pushing all of them this way, right?
We have the university has some weather staff here, and we've been monitoring the cells just to make sure that we have clear of lightning. Lightning is the most major lightning. We've had some instances in the past. So as far as I know, right now we're probably looking at about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But it's weather, so it's subject to change.
Hey, is this tornado? Are we in tornado country?
I don't think. Are we in tornado country?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are. That's not a concern, but we are, and this is why they're pushing everybody out. Sevan, to your point, that tent that blew over that years back, that's why they're moving everybody away from the built structures into permanent structures here, so that way they don't have a fear of anything blowing over onto anybody else.
Ask Miss Katina Thornton. That's did you see the doctor there, right there in that red shirt? That's Dr. Katina Thornton. Ask her if her and Danielle got to see each other yet, because she was Danielle's one-on-one last year.
Miss Thornton, have you and Danielle got to see each other yet? And how is she, and how was that experience for you? All right. Thank you.
Awesome.
And there was a little lightning now that I'm seeing happen back behind us over there.
So
I'm
last
not a meteorologist, no.
So just so you guys know, so last year Danielle Brandon's two training partners were diagnosed with the common cold, and so they weren't allowed to compete, but Danielle was allowed to compete even though she didn't have the cold. And then Danielle was given a doctor to follow her around everywhere, which is kind of funny. I'd have given her like a dude who's like 6'10" just to beat her up if she gets out of line, but they gave her a doctor instead. And that was the lady who was nice enough to do it. And of course, you hang out with Danielle Brandon all week, and she became a huge Danielle Brandon fan. And Danielle Brandon said that lady was super duper duper cool. And that lady's been around forever. And she's a mom. I think that lady has like 6 kids.
She does.
And her husband's a doctor too. They're really cool people. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah. No, yeah. I've worked with her a few times in the past, just with other events, and she's incredible. She works really hard. She's always really nice to everybody. She doesn't say a bad thing about a single person, and she's really good.
And she's got jokes. And she's got jokes because when I point out the lightning, she said, "Remember, you're not a meteorologist."
Hey, Jamal Smith, Sevan, they are beta shaming you. I know. I get in where you fit in. A guy named Dick Camp says Sevan Susan needs help on the ground. Says Dick, he needs your help. He's a power bottom. He needs.
I'm coming, Sousa. I'm coming.
When you ask someone about the weather and they use the words "we're tracking the cells," you know you're not in California anymore. You're like in weather country. Like we don't have that word here, or the incels or whatever the fuck he said. Matt, are these people waiting? These people who are now suspecting that it's going to open back up and they're ready to go back in?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. I don't know if you can hear the gentleman that was talking to us, but he said right now they're only expecting about a half hour, and then they should let everybody back in. But as we know, weather is always subject to change at any moment's notice. But right now it's about a half hour. So I haven't really seen a ton of people actually fully leave the venue. It looks like they just came to these 2 locations, at least the mass majority of them, just to kind of wait it out.
Yesterday, Adrian Bosman said that he has a long day today that will be going to 9:20 p.m. And I wonder if that day just got longer.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to move some stuff into tomorrow too, maybe. Or maybe even like the age groups, just shift them over to tomorrow.
Yeah. Sousa.
Yep.
What do they do? What's more important to give the individuals what has priority? If there's only so many hours in today, I know by tomorrow morning they want to probably get back on schedule. Will they start hacking away at masters and adaptive and age group in order to make the individuals get their shit done?
That's what I would assume. Yeah, they're probably going to take priority. So if there's any shifting that'll happen, that's probably where it'll take place in order to allow the individuals to still complete the day of competition.
But you haven't heard anything yet?
Haven't heard anything yet, no. And I think they're just trying to hope for the best and thinking that this might clear up within the next 30 or 40 minutes, and then they could kind of just get back on schedule.
The teams are, so they've just been completely put on hold, right? We haven't had any team events yet?
I think there was one. I don't know if that both heats concluded, but I know one heat was going on. And so maybe after that he concluded is when they started pushing people out. But I don't know.
Can you check the leaderboard? When would the teams have gone? When would they have gone?
They were going right after the men's heat. I don't know if they finished or not though.
But you're saying that while we were doing the first 5 minutes of the show, the team started up.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first heat going.
Okay.
They haven't awarded any points, but they have times, so I'm not sure.
Can we take a look at that? Can we peep that?
Yep. So they just have a bunch of teams, but no, and the times, but they didn't give anybody points or positions or anything like that.
Okay. I'm getting a note here from Kat Shear from the Clydesdale podcast. The following athletes have withdrawn from the CrossFit competition, and she's getting this on the app, which is pretty damn cool. Kudos to CrossFit for having this. She sent me a screenshot. Emily Rolfe and Tom Mulbear. Men set 65 plus. So now I guess the question is what happened to these two? Thank you, Kat. Let's see. Have you seen her have you seen her on the ground there? And we lost Hiller. Michael Edwards, 5. I think that might be pounds. Ricky Garard is 228 behind Jukic. I think he did 5 laps. Also based on how Emma closed the gap on final lap. Not a fan of strict press judging consistency. Okay. Oh, that'd be nice to have JR here for this. Or Hiller.
I imagine an issue with.
Go ahead.
I imagine an issue with the strict press judging is that you're going to have a lot of people like with a knee bend at the bottom. So like even if you're just coaching at your gym and you're doing strict presses, you have people with little knee bends at the bottom of their, like right as they engage to do their strict press. But whether or not they're going to be super sticklers about it or just let it just be, it's not a non-factor is kind of up to the judge, I guess.
Internet went down. I'm off for now, Mr. Hiller. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Oh my goodness, nice. I'm seeing all the CEO shirts coming out. Sorry, Caleb. I'm fighting with my friends in the text threads. Fighting with my friends in the text threads. Let's see this comment. Can we send Souza into the pavilion? Darren, he was in there and it was batshit crazy in there. See how tight it is? See how all those people are standing at the entrance? He will be going in there throughout the weekend. But as of now, I don't think it's a good idea for him to go in there. I think any second.
Yeah, it's pretty packed, and they've actually stopped letting people travel back and forth between the two of them. So now they're being held here. So there's a big kind of pack here, and then they're being held on this side as well too. That's why this is all clear now.
Let me see here.
I wonder if the athletes, if their taint hurts really bad after that bike race.
Yes.
Because there was no suspension on the front or the back. And I've ridden one with just a hardtail, and my taint hurts for probably the next week.
You need one of those seats with the hole in it.
Yeah, either that or I need to get like the butt pad and just put that under my ass because that shit's painful.
Oh, how lucky are fucking we? We are so lucky. James.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us, brother.
What's up, man? Thank you for the shirt.
Oh yeah. Are you leaving the venue?
No, I'm actually leaving the RV park, going back to the exhibition hall. That's where I'm staying at this year. Got an RV. They want to pay $500 a night for a hotel.
Gotcha. And I heard the RV park's cool.
Oh yeah, it's real cool.
And good vibes, good people.
Definitely.
How many people are staying there?
I want to say at least 200 people.
At least 200 campsites, or at least 200 people?
At least 200 campsites. Like you even have people over there in their tents. So you got a section for your tents, and then where I'm at, it's like basically where they went for the bike ride, where they went through on the gravel. That's where all the RVs are at. Yeah. So it's just like a big circle, and then in the middle. So yeah.
That was cool how they wrote through there. So there might be 500 or 1,000 people in there.
Could be.
What do you think about your guys' placement in this workout? Tudor's placement in this workout?
You know, he had a lot of jitters. You know, being a young guy coming in. You know, that's like opening kickoff jitters. You know, as soon as you get your first hit, hey, you know, you knocked your jitters out. But now he got his feet wet. I told him, hey, look, Vellner did 35th last year and got second, finished the weekend second. So it's a long weekend. You know, the play is over. That workout is over. Short-term memory. Workout number 2 is in your wheelhouse. Nobody moves the barbell like you in the shoulder to overhead position. So got to take your strength where you can get it. And then,
if it's a strict press?
let's focus one workout at a time.
Go ahead, Caleb. Ask your question.
Even if it's a strict press, you think he's still pretty good overhead?
Oh, yeah. I work that. You know, with me, like, I agree with what Hiller was saying. A lot of weightlifters do not work on their strict press. You know, they could have a 420 jerk, but can only strict press 185, 200 pounds. But me, since I love doing, you know, the whole bench press, strict press, you know, super total training, I have Tudor doing it. So that's in his wheelhouse, man. You know, you got to prepare for all things.
James, were you in the athlete briefing for that event?
Yes.
And we had Kotler on, and he said that they told the athletes they were responsible for their laps.
Yep.
But he also told us that there were no judges on the course counting laps. As far as he knows, the judges were there to make sure you didn't ride off the course.
I know that was weird, because now a lot of people are saying that, you know, the judge was telling him to go in. I mean, you could see one guy with a red flag, like waving him in. But the head judge guy did say, hey, if you fall, if your chain come off, you got to count your own laps. That's on your discretion. So,
okay.
But everybody is blaming a judge for waving, I guess, Dukic. I guess he was waving Dukic in, and yeah. So, I mean, hey, you went around 5 times the first lap. I don't know. I don't get it. 10 out of 20, I don't get it.
So, and what do you mean by that? Is there a place that you're putting the blame? Do you think that this all comes down to the athletes? Do you think the judges? Do you think it's split?
Oh, no, absolutely. It comes down to the athletes.
Absolutely. They should have known. They need to be counting.
Yeah. I mean, you did the first 5 fine, right?
Yeah. What do you mean the first 5?
The first 5 miles.
First 5 laps.
Oh, yes.
First 5 laps,
Right. Well, here's the thing. We don't even know. Did they? Here's the thing. Do we even know? Do you know some people are speculating, James, that Janikowski may have done 6 laps?
I heard that too. And if he did, he's a beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain and simple. If he did, he's a beast.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. James, we'd love to keep you on for a second. I want to talk to Kat Shear, but if you have to go, I understand. But
no. I mean, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just play in the rain. I mean.
Okay, good. Kat, hi. How are you?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. Did you get to watch that biking event?
Sure did.
And what was your vantage point of that?
I started out underneath the rig taking photos for the toes to bar section, and then scooted over to the finish line after that first round, because they like blockade places that you can't get through. So I wanted to make sure I was at the finish line for the end to take photos or talk to people. And the one thing that struck me, Sevan, was that when the winner crossed the finish line and I heard the time, 33 whatever, first thing that came to my mind was like, damn, these boys are fast, right? Like much faster than the women. And so it was it didn't really occur to me that something might have been wrong, but I was just like, wow, like way faster than the women. And then we saw Lazar come over, and he sort of was pantomiming like one of these things, like he kind of knew something was up, but there was nothing he could do about it at that point.
How you doing? Yeah.
Was there any official games counter for each individual. What we're trying to figure out is, did the chips count the laps? Was there a judge counting laps? Or worst case scenario, was there a camera that followed they gave you a vantage point where you could actually count everyone's laps? Is there any I guess it's the God's eye view or any view that's like objective that we would know who did what? We can't get an answer to that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would think there would be a camera at the entrance to the stadium where people were coming in, and perhaps if that was running, they'd be able to see, people coming through once, twice, 3 times. There were individual counters, obviously, underneath the rig. There were a lot of extra people just standing around. I mean, I know there were team judges that weren't on, that were just standing back there watching. So it wasn't like there wasn't manpower enough to maybe do something like what people are suggesting. Like, why wasn't there somebody on the track for every athlete to count? I know, Amy, you snuck back.
Yeah, I was on the sidelines and saw Spence, race in there and look around, and nobody was near him. And then Lazar came in, and then it was just waiting. There was
when you were where you weren't supposed to be, on the track, did you see anything out there? Like, were there counters or people just guide courses? And there were drones around, but nothing specific.
When you guys, hi Amy, when you guys saw Lazar enter the stadium, it looked like he realized he didn't even enter the stadium yet. It looks like right before he entered the stadium, he realized something was wrong. He got on his bike and he started to try to ride back to the track, and someone wouldn't let him.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to see that from where I was.
I did see Boz walk over to Spencer and Lazar and say something to them, and I think that's when they tried to get up, and they just said no.
It sucks. It's so great to be here live and to see all the action and to be so close to everything, but not having that like broadcast in your ear or some other like visual that you can see, it's just really difficult because you feel very like narrowly focused. Like, I can only see the person I'm taking a picture of, and you lose that bird's eye view of what's going on. It's difficult.
Let me ask you this. Kevin Mullins is asking, how did they count the laps in the crit a few years back? I don't have an answer for that.
No. Did anybody get lapped in the crit?
On the crit?
Yeah, I guess they did.
I don't remember.
Because if you're not getting lapped, it's a lot easier to, keep track of.
Okay. You guys, thank you so much. I'll keep sending you links throughout the week. I can't tell you how much I appreciate and the people appreciate it. It's clearly the CrossFit Games feed is down because there's so many people watching. Go ahead, Kat.
One thing, we are in the affiliate lounge right now. There's a special lounge for affiliate owners, and I know you have a big focus on affiliates. We're also taking an affiliate class tomorrow morning, coached by the handsome Paul Tremblay. So we'll report back on that. I think what they're doing here, that on-site affiliate, is a really cool thing, and we'd like to share it with everybody. So we'll be doing that in the morning.
Awesome, cool. Thank you, cool. Amy. Thanks for coming on. Yep.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Pulling from the masses.
So what? All those people that didn't finish, do they gotta bump them to the back?
I'll ask you that question. We were debating that quite a bit. Like, what is the goal? If you didn't finish, do you get a DNF and you just all tie for last place, or do they take the slowest lap and add a minute to your score? Or I guess it depends on what the goal is. But I do like what someone said in the comments. You didn't finish, and there is something for that. It's called the DNF, and just be thankful that they're going to let you keep competing. Like, get to the fucking end of the line.
Right.
But then James, what do you do what if we find out that Lazar tried to get back on the course and a judge told him, no, you're done, and he went in? I mean, I guess if in the briefing they said it's on you as the athlete, you could say, well, you should have stood up for yourself and told the guy to fuck off. But
right,
that's pretty intense in the line of competition.
I mean, it is on the athletes, but then the athletes do rely on the judges. So you got to hold that judge accountable too, if that is the case.
Why aren't you? Yeah, why aren't you with Tudor right now?
He's out there eating.
Oh, okay. But
I came back here to the Noble thing where they check in at. So.
And are you you are his coach at the event?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
And
do you have any other athletes there?
I have a 15-year-old that's competing this year, Kevin Hill. They start tomorrow. They get ready to do their orientation, but they were supposed to do a practice, I guess the bikes as well. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah. So tell me that one of the things we're speculating is, will they start cutting off age qualifiers, team events, adaptive before they start cutting off individual events? Because people paid a lot of money to come see the individuals, right? But then also these athletes who are, the adaptive, the age, et cetera, they paid a lot of money to be there too. How are they going to do that? If they start running out of time, have they told you like, hey, we're cutting out one of the age group workouts? Have you heard anything like that?
No, I haven't heard that. But if they do, like today, the plan was to go to 9:00, right? So Friday we'll have to go to 9:00. Saturday we'll have to go to 9:00. So they would have to put in late days.
Okay.
You can't just cut that. That'll be a big ass shitstorm.
Okay. So you're saying your vote is to make the days longer?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can ask Matt Souza here what if he's heard anything. Souza, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Why is everyone indoors? Did the rain start up like crazy? We got James indoors, you're indoors. What's going on?
No, they finally pushed me inside, and they're just holding everybody inside. I don't know for how long for, but they're not really letting us even cross back and forth right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a trip. I wonder if they're expecting something really violent. And any tornado talk, Matt?
No, nothing that I've heard of. They're just kind of holding everybody here in limbo.
That's what it looks like. Shit.
Yeah.
All right. I think that we've just about exhausted everything we could tell you from here. Any other thoughts here, Mr. Souza? Anything you'd like to share with us?
No, I think from when we talked to him, it's been about 15 minutes. They were suggesting that possibly it'll only be a half hour. Will they hold everybody in? So if that holds true and nothing has changed since we originally talked to him, then we should be able to move around here in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
But the rain hasn't been crazy. The wind hasn't picked up. Like nothing's been extreme this whole time. It's kind of just been relatively the same, where we'll get little downpours every now and then, but nothing too crazy.
Okay. Let's take one final look at the leaderboard. What was the final leaderboard position, which takes points, and how does that time differ from Spencer? Caleb, can you pull up the leaderboard and see if they've had any corrections on there, if they're still sorting that out? I guess the weather's good for them there because it's allowing them to sort out this mess and make decisions. A tough year for Chuck Carswell to start and have to be making. These are tough decisions. Let's go over to the men's. I think. Oh, okay. So I see what you're showing us, Caleb. Caleb's showing us that Danielle Brandon is still in 8th place, and we're fairly sure that that is incorrect because she did only 4 laps. And I guess the next is to go over and look at the boys and those guys. Yeah, we have Spencer and Lazar, and those are the two that were pretty certain. Okay. James, do you have any thoughts on this? Ricky Garard is saying he did 5 laps and that he did sprint by Yanikoski at the end, and it was a time that the camera wasn't on Yanikoski. Have you heard anything about that?
No, nothing. No. They're kind of keeping everything under wraps out here.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, they all tucked away in the rooms and stuff right now.
Yeah, I don't blame them. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We will be back shortly. I bet you within an